everyone, we're at our new project today. Someone had already done a few renovations on this, like new windows, new doors, but we've repainted, we've done trim work, and we're fixing to start on the bathrooms, and it's going to be great.
When we got the house, we knew ahead of time that we were going to take all this out anyway because there's no shower niche in here, and we always put a shower niche. And we knew that the previous owner had put this plumbing in, and they didn't leave us any of the fixtures to it. So all this is going to have to come out. When we started looking a little closer, we realized that this backerboard isn't even regulation for a shower. It's like 1/4 inch backerboard, which you're not supposed to put in a shower. And I noticed when we took one of these screws out that these aren't even tile screws. These are drywall screws, which you can't use in a shower because they rust. So we're going to take all of this out. I apologize for the lack of continuity here. I realize I look a little different. I had to leave the day and get a haircut, so I know I look a little different than I did before. Anyway, now that we have the backerboard out that was too thin, we can address a few of the problems we have with the shower before we put it all back together. First, we need to put the niches in. Then we need to address the plumbing that they left here, because they did put new plumbing in, but they didn't leave us any of the fittings that went on it, so it doesn't do us any good. We have to take all that out and put new in. Plus they use CPVC, which we usually use PEX, so I'm going to go ahead and change that out while we're doing it. Then finally we're going to put the backerboard that was supposed to be here originally, the thicker stuff, and retile the shower. When it comes to niches in the shower, I don't know if there's really a set standard of what size they need to be. You do want them to be large enough so that shampoo bottles and other things will fit inside them, so they need to be functional. I tend to always make them at least 15 inches tall, because after it's 15 inches, when you add the backerboard on the top and the bottom of the niche plus your tile, you usually have at least 13 inches left when it's all said and done, and that tends to be tall enough for a shampoo bottle to fit easily and come out. In this shower, we're actually going to add two niches. We're going to add one up high and then one down low, for one when you're standing in the shower and then one when you're sitting in the tub. This isn't necessary. You can do them however you want to, but in this one we just thought it'd be functional and look pretty cool, so that's really the only reason we're doing it that way. I'd love to see how everyone else does theirs, so if you'd like to leave pictures in the comments below and show me how you do yours, I'd love to see them. Unfortunately, I had to take out some of the insulation where the niche is going. It's a good idea to wear a mask and gloves and maybe even safety glasses when you do this. Not only because this stuff is itchy, but it's usually also pretty dusty. And anyone who's ever done this before knows why I said unfortunately, because no one wants to do this. When you're doing this, it's a good idea if you can salvage some of it, because you want to put it back in above and below the niche when you're done. Sometimes it tears up too much to use, but luckily insulation is not that expensive to replace. Trying to move the camera to give you a little better view. This bathroom is really small. It's only like 3 feet outside the tub, so there's not a lot of room to place it here. Hopefully you can see. Just showing what kind of screws I'm using. These are just general construction screws. A lot of homeowners are always using drywall screws to fix everything. I like these better. They have what's called a T25 head on them. I don't know if you can see that. It just gives the bit more points of contact when you're screwing it in, so they don't slip as much as a Phillips head bit would in ordinary drywall screws. That's the dust I was telling you about. Normally I'd also have a fan on in here because it is unbelievably hot. It's about 85 degrees in this house right now. But I had to turn it off because it was making so much noise you wouldn't be able to hear it. Or you wouldn't be able to hear me over the fan. That is done. I know it doesn't look like much now because it's just some boards on a wall. But eventually, once we start tiling, you'll see what the reason we did this for. So you'll have a niche here for in the shower, and then below here will be the second one for when you're in the tub. I've got to get out of here. It is too hot and I have to turn the fan back on. The last thing we need to do before we put the backerboard up is the plumbing. And if you had to, you could access this from the tub side. There's just not a lot of room to work. You can see it's a pretty tight spot to get your hands in, but you could do it if that's the only access you had. Luckily for us, there's a vanity going on the other side of the wall, so we were able to cut an opening in there to access all the plumbing. You can see you can easily reach your hands in here and work. It just makes it easier to have a little room to move around to take this stuff out. That's pretty much it. Other than taking out a couple of screws up here at the shower head, that's all you have to do to take this out. If you're new to plumbing, you may be a little worried about cutting into your pipes because you don't know how to put the new pipes back to these and connect them together. The old method was you had to sweat the pipes together with a torch and solder, but luckily we don't have to do that anymore. Now we have shark bite connectors. All you have to do on these is push to connect them. There's no glue, no soldering, anything like that. And not only do you not have to do that, the benefit of these is you can connect two unlike materials together. We're using PEX from this point up, and it'll connect right in the other side of this fitting. As I was putting the Teflon tape on this valve, it reminded me of a tip I wanted to give you guys. If you're going to Lowe's or Home Depot to buy a new faucet for your shower or tub, and you're planning on installing this yourself, I highly recommend opening the box while you're in the store. I know some of the employees might frown on you doing this, but it's the only way you'll know how your mixing valve is set up. And what I mean by that is you need to take this valve out of the box and look at it. And see, this one has threaded ends on all of the mixing valves, the ins and the outs. And they're not all the same. Some of these have female and some of them have male. And you're gonna have to know which one you've got to know which kind of plumbing fittings you're gonna have to buy while you're there. Otherwise, you're gonna be making 2 trips to the store to go get the right plumbing fittings to attach to this. So I can't stress enough, if you can get away with it, open these boxes while you're in the store and see which mixing valve you got on your inlet and outlets to know which one of these fittings you gotta have. Similar to shark bite fittings, when you use PEX, there's no soldering anything and there's no glue, but you will need some of these crimp rings for whatever size PEX you're using, and you'll need a crimping tool, something similar to this. That's all you need to put it together. Alright guys, plumbing is done. And I've got to get out of the shower. I cannot describe to you how hot it is in here right now. I know a lot of you are probably thinking, why don't you just turn the air conditioner on? That's a great idea, because it doesn't work. Got to get that fixed soon as possible. But right now, all this is done, prepped and ready to go. All we have to do is backerboard and tile now. Amanda's been sick the past couple of days. That's the reason she kind of mysteriously disappeared from the video, but hopefully she'll be back to help me do the tile work in here. I hope that this was helpful to you, and if you would, please like and subscribe. I'll try to link in the description below some of the materials and tools we use, and I hope to see you guys again next time. Thanks.